you are number one, and our guests are stars amongst stars. I am your host, Sonix, and we have a lot in store for you today. Last week on our show, we had the iconic, the legend, the king, DMC of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame group, Run DMC. If you haven't watched episode 3, make sure you go and check it out. But first, joining us a little later on in the show, we have movie director, executive producer, and screenwriter, Brian the Synth Man Washington. He's going to share some of his history with us, what he's been up to, and we are excited to deliver breaking news to you today. That's right here on Sonix TV1, your home for entertainment, your new home for entertainment. So we couldn't be more excited today to share breaking entertainment news with you today. So a little bit later on, we will be revealing 3 new videos that I have worked on Brian on as far as my new career as an artist embarking on my jazz career. So you don't want to miss that. August 16th, I released a new single called Broadway, and we're going to share Broadway, the freshly cut, the freshly recorded video for Broadway a little later on in the show. A little bit about myself. I am Sonix, music producer, songwriter, producer, musician, and I have been fortunate to work with the likes of Barry White, David Bowie, Lauryn Hill, labels, Warner Brothers, Capitol, Bad Boy, to name a few. And I couldn't be more excited to now be your host of Sonix TV1. In September 2021, I released my first single, Easy Street, and we're going to check that out right now. Stay tuned and keep it locked right here on Sonix TV1, your new home for entertainment. Keep it locked right here. That was Easy Street. Produced, written, arranged, composed by yours truly. On the bass, we have the one and only Walter Jones out of Las Vegas. On guitar, we have Johnny Johnson, Johnny J2, what up, boy? Also, we have John J.R. Robinson on drums, the most recorded drummer in history. You could check him out. He's well known for Michael Jackson, Thriller, and all these wonderful, amazing records. He's going to be on the show in October, so stay tuned. Make sure you stay abreast of what we have going on, so you don't want to miss anything. Coming up, if you like what we do, ladies and gentlemen, please subscribe and like the channel right down below. Subscribe and like the channel right down below. You don't want to miss anything, so stay tuned with us and keep locked, and you get the notifications. So coming up, we have the one and only, the legend in the making, Brian the Synth Man Washington, and he's going to be sharing his story with us about how he got into filmmaking and his process. And we have 3 reveals for you today. We will be releasing 3 music videos today, so you can check those out a little later on in the show. But first, we have a little video for you to introduce the one and only, the legendary Brian the Synth Man Washington. Keep it locked right here on Sonix TV1, your new home for entertainment. Brian the Synth Man Washington, movie director, executive producer, and musician. Brian the Synth Man Washington's journey into filmmaking began at just 10 years old, fueled by a fascination with the end credits of his favorite movies. Driven by an insatiable curiosity about the intricate craft behind the scenes, he delved into the roles of actors, voice artists, stunt performers, camera operators, and most intriguing, sound and visual effects creators. From an early age, Brian understood that filmmaking was a collaborative effort requiring a dedicated team of creators. A versatile musician and music producer, Brian earned the nickname the Synth Man for his innovative use of synthesized sounds on the keys. At his own studio, he has produced tracks for a diverse array of clients, recorded local artists, and composed original scores for his debut short film. His lifelong fascination with sound effects seamlessly transitioned into his music, with sampled effects enriching his compositions and vocal recording techniques, paving the way for his adeptness at automated dialogue replacement, ADR, for film. Brian is a self-taught filmmaker and video editor, continuously expanding his skills with advanced 3D compositing for visual effects. His portfolio spans music videos, interviews, church and sporting events, concerts, and weddings. Yet his heart beats strongest for filmmaking. Brian's first short film, 10-Minute Window, which he wrote, directed, and edited, earned him accolades at the Augusta Indie Film Festival.
Meet Marcus, a good guy with a bad sense for time.
Wasn't I take my alarm last night?
No matter how hard he tries,
Come on, Key, what you doing?
they can't get it together.
I gotta get to work.
His boss is breathing down his neck.
Now you already know I don't like it.
A string of bad luck and time going against him.
No, why does this happen to me?
He'll have to beat the odds
Can y'all just move out the way and let me through? I promise I'll give you $1, give you $1.
and beat the clock to keep his job.
I can't lose my damn.
From producer Brian Synth Man Washington brings you the hilarious short film, 10-Minute Window. When you're in a rush and time's racing against you, good luck.
Come on, trucks, move it!
His follow-up, Rat in the Wolf, has similarly impressed audiences at festivals and online.
Shortcut? Where? Through the woods?
My name is Red.
There's a big bad wolf running around out here.
Where is he?
Who's afraid of the big bad wolf?
You are.
I finally see the face of the dog I'm gonna kill.
I'm the big bad wolf. I can't be killed.
With experience in various filmmaking roles, including director, assistant director, director of photography, and editor, Brian has crafted several short films and is now preparing to produce his debut feature-length film. His ultimate ambition is to helm major motion pictures and emerge as a leading black film director in the industry. Sonix TV1, join me in welcoming Brian the Synth Man Washington. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. The legendary Brian the Synth Man Washington. What's going on, Brian? How you doing today? I can't hear you right now, so hang tight. Do you have your mic muted?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
There we go.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the show.
Yes, sir. What's going on?
Oh, you know how we do, man. Tell the people how you feeling.
I'm good, man. Just living this thing called life and making it do what it do, man.
Well, we're excited to have you on the show today, so let's get into it. One thing I like to do is start at the beginning of the book. I always say that you don't know where you're going unless you know where you've been. So at the beginning of all of this, you started out as a musician. Tell me about that. How did you learn to play? Initially, tell me that story. Learning to play as a child musician. What drove you to music?
So music runs big in the family. So I started playing drums in church when I was 5, holding down a whole church service at 5 years old. And eventually I graduated to playing keys around 7 or 8, holding down whole church services at 7 or 8. And then I got into production probably around 15, 16, and just took off from there, man. It's just in my blood, man. Our whole family is musical, so it was just inevitable, man. Just God-given talent.
But you cultivated that talent, you made it do something. So expand upon that, and what did you get into later on after you learned to play? Because I read that you got into music production, and tell me about that process.
So I learned about Pro Tools through my cousin and my music mentor, Darren Schuler, Pastor Darren, the Maestro Schuler. That's my music mentor of all musicians. So he taught me stuff in Pro Tools, and I got on YouTube and started learning it more. And I've been writing songs forever. So I got tons of songs and tons of tracks. It's just sitting on a hard drive somewhere. And it never turns off. You always hear music in your head, and you always hear lyrics. And I've recorded local artists, multiple artists, just making tracks after tracks after tracks, making tracks in your sleep. You know how that is as a musician. It just never turns off.
Yeah, when it's in your fiber, it's just in your fiber. So you're just expressing yourself,
Right.
Like compositions. You hear music in your head, you hear chord progressions, and it just turns into things. So shout out to Darren. Shout out to cousin Darren.
Yeah. Shout out to Darren, man. That's my dude.
So speak more about the family as a whole, being in that environment to develop those skills.
So our family is just huge. So my mom is the baby out of 12 siblings. So out of those 12 siblings of hers, we have tons of cousins, and we all was raised in church. So we would play in church, and then after church, we would have after church jam sessions, and we go home and have more jam sessions at the house. So everybody's learning from each other, bouncing ideas off each other. It's just one of those things. It could be 2 a.m. We'll just be playing something, playing the piano, playing the keyboard, So I personally felt like I was the bottom of the barrel as far as talent is concerned with music. Because those other cats in our family are just crazy with the chords and all that stuff. But still, it's just fun to be around everybody who can play. It doesn't matter whether it's family or not. If you're a musician, you understand music. So you get around other musicians, you just learn and you hear and you just play back and forth, bounce off each other.
Right. Well, for those that don't know, Brian is my cousin. And
Yeah.
we grew up all playing together, playing in church, around each other, learning from each other, inspiring each other in a most beautiful way, where we just encourage each other to grow and be the best versions of ourselves. And everyone has a dynamic, incredible voice at what they do. We have singers, we have writers, we have arrangers, we have composers, we have so many amazing musicians. Basically, somebody that can play something on every instrument. And then we have the vocalists, the songwriters. Yeah. So it's just, it was a wonderful way to grow up. And was inspired by Brian, was inspired by Darren, was inspired by the maestro himself, Andre Simmons. So it's just a pool of musicians and the family. And what's funny is you cannot have that distinction of being the worst in the family. I took that distinction.
Bro. But you know what's cool about it? Like, we was all raised in church, so gospel is top tier for us.
Oh,
so,
absolutely.
But we're all able to like play any genre, from jazz to rock to hip hop to R&B to neo soul. We play it all, so we produce it all. So it's just cool to get together, and no matter what style we play, we on it.
Right. So tell us about this nickname, the Synth Man.
So it's funny. I don't even know I should be telling on myself about this one, but
come on, man, you on here to spill the beans, man. You on here to spill the beans, so let it out.
Oh man, so don't tell nobody else. But my family nickname growing up was always Shorty B, because I'm short. I'm one of the shortest people in the family, so everybody got jokes, but that's all right. But one day I was in my studio and I had a recording session with a couple of artists. There's probably about 5 people in the studio at the time. And his name was Alex. And he said, "Hey, Brian, I need you to play this synth line," because I play a lot of synth lead stuff on keys. And he was like, "Man, play this synth line on it." And I said, I didn't want to play on the album, on the track. I was like, I'm just engineering it at this point. So he's like, "Nah, just play a little something." So I played a little synth line over the music or whatever. And everybody in there was just going crazy that I played this one little line that I didn't think was much of anything, but they loved it. And Alex said, "Yo, B, you're the Synth Man." And when I say that name rang in my ears when he said it, it just stuck with me. And I was like, okay. So that's why I use Brian Synth Man Washington.
Well, it's very fitting because this brother can play. If you haven't heard him play, this brother can air it out. So if you haven't heard him play, make sure you do at some point. Well, let's move forward in a little bit in your story, because you have a very unique story. So grew up playing instruments in church, and school, and concerts, and then you gravitated and elevated, and then you grew. And when you grew, you joined the military. Tell us about that.
Right. Yeah, I joined the Army. I was in there for about 8 years. Went to Germany. I was on the East Coast, West Coast. I actually deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan, so I was actually in a war zone, stuff blowing up around me. It was an experience. I do not want to do it again, but thank God, I survived through that 13 months being over there. And the military was I just say it was an experience.
Which branch of service did you tell the people what branch of service you served in?
I was in the Army.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in the Army, and I played in multiple churches overseas, and so God took me all these different places through the military, and everywhere I went, I was always picked out. Really, I tried to hide in the background, like you try to sit in the back of the church, or somebody might call you out, like, "Oh, he plays." So all these churches would call me, and I would have to go play. So it was a blessing, even in the military, with the talent God gave me. It always opened doors for me, no matter where I went.
Well, that's an amazing thing. We thank you for your service. We thank you for your sacrifices. It's a sacrifice for all involved, the family, everyone involved. So we thank you for your service. We want to fast forward a little bit and get to the filmmaking.
Yeah.
Tell me what inspired you, because initially you was all music, and was crazy. I didn't know that you went completely into film until recently. So tell me
Yep.
about that hard left turn. I didn't really learn about that till this year. I think I didn't find
Really?
out till June, basically, of this year that you switch lanes
Oh,
on
bro, you
everybody.
late, cuz.
You see all this talent, man. This brother just
Oh, man.
wake up and have talent just oozing out his ears. So
Well, you already know everybody in the family got more than one talent, so it's in there.
yeah, that's
But
true.
so the very beginning of my film career started really with my dad. So back in the day, they had those big home camcorders, and you had to have the VCR connected to you on a strap. And what he would do is he would let me hold it. And I remember specifically at my grandmother's house, Mama, that's what we call my grandmother, Mama. He had it plugged into the TV. So everybody just got a kick out of seeing themselves on TV back then. So I'm like 5, 6 years old at the time, and he let me hold it one day, and he showed me how to hold it. He showed me how to frame the shot. He didn't know it, but I loved that. Just holding that camera at that moment, I was like, I really like this. Like, it was cool. So fast forward a little bit, I started reading end credits. People don't pay attention to end credits. So I'm still, I think around 10, I really started paying attention to the end credits of like my favorite cartoons or TV shows, because for one, I'm a musician first, so I hear sounds. I love sound effects, all that kind of stuff. So when I would watch something, I hear all these sounds. It's like, wow, like blowing my mind. I would read the end credits, like who did the sound effects? Who did the voices for the characters, especially Looney Tunes? I was blown away to know that Mel Blanc did most of the voices for all the Looney Tune characters. I was like, this one guy did it? So I understood at a young age that it took all these people in the end credits to make this production. So as I got a little older, started watching movies, read the end credits, and I was like, I just felt them, in my spirit, like, I could do this. I didn't know how way back then. There was no YouTube or anything like that back then, but I knew I could do it. It was just in me, and it started with my dad letting me hold that camcorder.
Well, shout out to my Uncle Herm, for getting it started, getting that
Right.
that fire burning in you. So now, fast forward, you have created several shorts. Tell me about the funny one you had me crying laughing on was a 10 minute
10-minute window.
10-minute window. Yeah, please tell me about that one. Tell me about that one.
So the genres of films that I like to do, I'm definitely the comedy guy, the action guy, sci-fi guy. So I love comedy, especially clean comedy, because you don't really see a whole lot of clean comedy anymore. So I'm trying to do something different in that realm where you can do a whole movie and you don't have a whole lot of vulgar stuff in it. So 10-minute window was the start of that, because everybody can relate being late to work, like waking up late, whether it's work or whether you got to get to the airport to catch a plane and you oversleep or whatever. Everybody has done that once or twice in their life. So that's where the idea came from. Shout out to my man Robert Green, who played the character Marcus in the film. He did a phenomenal job, and I'm very proud of that short. It actually won an award at the Augusta Indie Film Festival. Oh, wow. And Robert won Best Actor, and a Best Actor award in that short. So it was a great time filming it. We had a lot of fun.
Well, he had me crying laughing. Who wrote the film? Did you write the film?
I wrote it. I wrote the film, but Robert threw in he improv'd a lot of that. He just played off of what I wrote and he just expanded on it. So he really brought the character Marcus to life. Like, and when he was doing certain things, I was like, yeah. So I would give directions here and there, but Robert just improv so much of it, and it was like on point, man. It was great.
Well, he had me crying laughing. My favorite part, I'm not going to give the movie away, but my favorite part, I'll give you $1, I'll give you $1, I'll give you $1.
Yeah. Now imagine when he's saying this stuff, I'm literally biting the inside of my cheeks to keep from laughing, because I'm filming inside the car, so I'm trying not to laugh and mess up the take. But he said so much. There was so much stuff I didn't even put in the movie. I had to cut it out. He said a ton of stuff, man. But that's the kind of stuff I love, man. Like, it's a collaboration when you make a film. It don't have to be verbatim what I wrote, as long as it's along those lines of it. You can expand on it as an actor. Hey, I'm gonna let it ride, let it go, and it turns out better.
Absolutely. Who are some of the other actors and actresses in this one?
So I had my man Adam Slaughter. He played the big boss man, who was also the narrator in my other movie, Red and Wolf. Adam is another one that can just improv a lot of stuff and he just have you cracking up or whatever. I had Shannon Baker. She was the dream girl on the beach. I had my man Brian Jones. He was one of the news anchors in Johnny's Chase. She was the other news anchor, and I had I'm missing somebody. Oh Lord, can't think of her name, but she played Deidre, the nosy secretary in the film. So yeah, so I had about 5 people in the movie.
Well, they did an excellent job, and I was very much entertained. If you haven't seen any of his works, please make sure you go out and check out that 10-minute window. It's hilarious. You will not regret it.
Yeah. And I got to give a shout out to my man Kevin McCormick, because he helped me film it. He let me use his, at the time it was like a $7,000 cinema camera, and he was in film school at the time. And I told him about the film, what I was trying to do. He jumped on board, man, and we filmed it with this camera. He helped me shoot some shots in the film. So big shout out to my man Kevin. I appreciate you. He gave me my first start on my first short.
Well, let me ask you this: since we started down that road, what are some of the tools you like to use, camera-wise, lenses, how you like to shoot, wide range? Just give me a little bit of your tools you like to use in your tool shed.
So I'm currently a Sony shooter, so I have a Sony A7 III. That's my main camera right now, until the Lord bless me with some higher end stuff, what I want. You know, that stuff ain't cheap, you know, so, but I prefer smooth shots. I love movement. I love for the camera to always be moving. Not so much handheld, but I use a gimbal, which smooths out all your shots, so I always use that. Handheld is used for real specific things, but I'm not a handheld guy. So all my movements are intentional with how I move the camera with the gimbal. So as far as camera stuff, that's mainly what I work with right now.
Well, let's move forward a little bit. You and I got to work on a couple of things. And we're going to circle back, but I want to break it up a little bit. Brian and I linked up in the summer, and we started shooting and haven't stopped since. We'll break down a little bit more when we come back, but I got the concept to create a trailer, like a movie trailer, for all the different music videos we are working on, I should say. So I had the idea to create this music trailer for all these upcoming music videos, and I called Brian. I said, Brian, we got to do a music video trailer. He's like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, all the different music videos, we got to do like our commercial for it. So when we created it, I had the concept of Savage. So here's our music video trailer for up and coming. We have about 6 working on?
6.
Yeah, we're working on about 6 music videos right now. So here's a portion of the different things we're working on now. So check it out. Here is Savage, and it is a world premiere. You heard it here first on Sonix TV1. Keep it locked right here.
This is a world premiere.
Hey, yo, Sonic, what do you want to be when you grow up?
That's easy. A music producer, songwriter, arranger, composer, recording artist, TV host. Nah, I take that back. A savage. 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 I'm just a savage. 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 Birds flying high
Yeah, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. That was Savage. Our music video commercial for about 6 videos we're working on. So, and also it tells a little bit of the history of some of the songs I released, some of the music I released prior. So that was Savage. I had fun working on that. I just had this whole concept of being this double agent, and Brian helped bring it to life, man. Tell me about that process.
So when you told me about the agent and you said you wanted to be like you was in a dungeon or something, like you've been captured or something like that, I was like, okay. So the funnest part of that video was the beginning when it's shaking and you're going crazy because you in this dungeon and you see all your album covers fly up and down. I was like, that's my favorite part of the video right there. That's pretty dope. So it was fun putting it together.
So how did you look at it as from an editing standpoint? How did you help to tell that story and make it one seamless storyboard? What were you thinking when you had all these clips to choose from? Why did you choose these clips to make this story?
So it's complicated, but it's not to me. So the simplest way to put it is, once you send me the footage, so Sonic filmed this at his place on a green screen and he sent it to me. So what I do is I watch all the takes, I listen to the track, and as the track is playing, even if I don't see it, I visualize, with the music. So in my head, I hope I'm explaining this right. When I hear the music, I can already visualize what I'm gonna do. So when you send me the footage and I watch it, it's like, okay, because I'm a musician, I already hear the track. And then when I see the visuals, it's like, okay, it's like peanut butter jelly. It's already in my head. So then I start picking it out in the editor, and one by one, it's like it's kind of like I see the finished version in my head as I'm already doing it, if that makes sense.
Well, that's a gift and a talent unheard of. You just have this vision. And so when I share what it is I'm trying to do with Brian just says, okay. He looks at the crazy cousin and says, okay, let's make it happen. Pretty much. I go, Brian, right. we got to do this and this. Because what's crazy about how we work is like the storyboard is all in my head. And then so Brian is finding out a lot of things as we're going. So he's like, show me what you're going to do. Just show me what you're going to do. And he's patient with Big Cuz.
Yeah, we go back and forth. He'll say something, I'll be like, Cuz, that ain't gonna work. That don't work. He'll be like, let me see it anyway. And I'll show him, yeah, it don't work. Take it back. Why we at it? So it's a lot of back and forth. I'm like, you should listen to me the first time. But that's actually how it works with directors and editors on actual big film sets. They get into a lot of arguments because the director sees one thing, the editor sees another thing that don't work, and they clash a lot. So it's no different, even on what we're doing. But it's all part of the process. At the end of the day, it's going to be great in the end.
We have a great working relationship. I just bring him my visions and he helps capture it and bring it to life and make it make sense. I'm just creative and I throw paint on the wall and I got to see how the paint looks on the wall. And Brian was like, nah, that paint don't look good. You shouldn't have used that color, brother. You should have used yellow instead of red right there.
Right.
Man, let's dial that back. So Brian is a great soundboard, but we always have an amazing time together. And I couldn't be more grateful to work with my cousin. Yes, my real cousin, Brian Washington, the Synth Man. So you have another short, The Red and the Wolf. Let's get into that. The Red and the Wolf, featuring who's the actors and actresses in this one?
So again, I have Shannon Baker, who plays Red, and Brian Jones. Again, both of them was in 10-Minute Window. He plays the Big Bad Wolf. So the idea came about while I was at work. So I don't know why that popped into my head, but I was like, what if Red was grown up and the Big Bad Wolf killed her grandmother when she was younger, and now she's seeking revenge as an adult? And I was like, and the concept that I did this was like growing. So I told Brian Jones while we was at work, I told him the idea, and he's an amazing actor. So he was like, yeah, let's go do it. So he went out and found some woods. He went on, I didn't even know he was looking for the woods. I just told him the idea. later on that evening, he went and found some woods, and I was on Amazon looking up props and called Shannon up and was like, hey, I got this idea. She was like, I'm game, let's do it. And it just went from there, put it together.
That's a beautiful thing when you got people that support your vision, support your dreams, and they ready to work. Let's just roll up our sleeves and let's bring it together, you know, like no man is an island. So that's a wonderful thing. You have a team and a crew that's willing to work and roll up their sleeve and get it done.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot of work. So for those who thinking they want to be an actor, like it's not just you see the finished product, but the process of making it is very time consuming. You got to do it over and over and over and over again. And you know, I've worked with actors that just got tired after the third take. I'm like, if you tired after 3 takes, you couldn't do it on the big level because they might do 50 takes of the same, and then change the camera angles around and do another 50 takes of the same thing. So, you know, it's not for the faint of heart, but the end of the film, when you see the finished product, it's very rewarding.
For me, that's the work ethic. It's all about the work. It's all about the work. You know, you could be the most talented person on the earth, but you don't put that work in, you don't get anything out. So Brian and I have a very similar work ethic. We don't sleep, we don't eat, let's make it happen. Let's get it done.
These bags under my eyes, that's for a reason.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I think I might have helped cause a few of those.
It was already there.
So this past weekend, Brian and I flew to New York City. Yes, we did. We flew to New York City, and we recorded the music video for Broadway and 2 other videos. We started shooting, and we actually completed 2 other videos while we were there. So it was no sleep, no eat the whole time.
It was a 16-hour set.
Yeah.
16 hours straight filming.
Yeah, we got it done. We got it in, and we got it done.
Right.
So
great.
Here is a world premiere for you, Broadway, which we just shot 3 days ago. Was it 3 days ago or 2 days ago?
Yeah, this past Saturday, yeah.
This past Saturday, and Brian flew home and edited the video, and we are sharing that with you right here on Sonix TV1. This is Broadway, the Sax Mix, featuring William Prince, the saxophone virtuoso out of Connecticut. Here is Broadway.
This is a world premiere.
That was Broadway. Produced, written, and arranged by yours truly, featuring the one and only saxophone virtuoso, William Prince. Directed by Brian the Synth Man Washington.
Yeah.
This is a world premiere, and this is breaking news. Broadway, the music video will be available right after the show, and you'll be able to check it out whenever you're ready. So thank you, Brian, for putting up with your cousin and and let me push you, and probably annoy the crap out of you to get this done.
Hey, it was a lot of work, But it's great, man. This is what we do as artists. You know, it's the same thing when you in the studio recording the tracks. You know, play stuff over and over again. You got to mix it, you got to master it. Doing retakes it's part of the process, man. This what we do.
So I had this concept for Broadway. When I was writing it, I said, you know what? I want to write something that felt like home. And home for me is New York City. And I grew up there, born and raised there, Connecticut, New Jersey. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to all the family tuned in. We got a lot of family tuned in tonight, so I'm very grateful for y'all. I'm grateful for everybody tuning in worldwide. We're grateful for you. So I go to Brian. I said, Brian, I know we shooting this footage right now. I said on late Saturday night, I said, Brian, I know you're gonna hate me for this.
His exact words. I was like, oh boy.
I said, don't hate me, cousin, don't hate me. But we gotta have Broadway ready for the show on Wednesday. And he looked at me and goes, yeah, I had a feeling you was gonna say that.
This eyebrow went up. I was like, okay.
You're like, hey, it's gonna be a lot of work. I'll see what I can do. I ain't gonna make no promises. So when I was thinking about the concept of Broadway, I just kept seeing 72nd and Broadway, the vibes, the good people, the food, the energy. I wanted the backdrop of Times Square, and we were fortunate to have some family come out and hang out with us for a little bit. So I said, let's capture some of the family hanging out with us in the middle of Times Square on the steps. So shout out to the family, shout out to Tiff, shout out to Linda, shout out to Val, Nancy, all the family that joined in and came through and showed love and support. We greatly appreciate you. When the family comes through, man, it's nothing like family coming through to support and showing love. It was just an amazing time to see them come through and see them and spend a few minutes with them. So tell me about editing Broadway. I know you was on crunch time, but tell me about that process, because we just recorded the footage and footage for 2 other videos. No, 3 other videos, right?
That was 3. Yeah, I think 3.
Yeah, so we recorded footage for 3.
We shot a lot. That's all I know.
It was all a blur. It was all a blur by 1 o'clock in the morning. It was all a blur. Everybody was delirious by that point. Everybody was delirious. Man. So tell me about that process, editing this one.
So before the editing, I'm gonna go back to shooting it. So first of all, it was just dope shooting it on Broad Street, period. Just as I call run and gun style, you call it guerrilla filmmaking, however you say it. It was just dope just shooting it on Broadway and in Times Square like that, just live with everybody walking, the traffic, just the vibe was just so dope, just filming free like that. And you may not have noticed in the video, but there was tons of people that was vibing to it as we were shooting it. So they was feeling the music because we had it on a playback, playing it back. So as far as editing goes, what I do, and some editors don't do this, I go back and label every clip. I'll skim through it. I mean, I watch it live all the way through because the song is like 4 minutes, something like that, close to that. I'll skim through it. I might play parts of it. I label what it is, and I pick out what takes that I know is going to be good, that'll be good in editing. Once I label everything, then I'll put it in the editor, and then it's easier for me to keep track of what's what because it's already labeled, it's already good. I don't have to worry about trying to find it in the editor. And then, like I said, when I hear the music, I already know as I'm filming it, okay, this can be first, second, third, I can do this. And since I love a lot of movement, if you notice in the video, there's a lot of moving parts. I love that. I know how to piece it together as it's moving. So that's my process.
you definitely helped to bring this story to life. This video is exactly the vision I had in my head when I was, thinking of how to shoot this, where to shoot this, and it to me, it just couldn't have come out. It couldn't have come out any better. It just completely tells the vibe, the story, in my city, New York City, the energy of it, the people walking through the scenes. I love that. And when I was telling Brian, I was like, I want the energy of New York City captured. People walking through the middle of it. I want all that. I don't want no breaks. This was all live, just raw, raw energy of how New York City really is. And so I'm just so grateful we were able to capture that. So we're going to circle back a little bit. Red and the Wolf, there were some things that Brian wanted to mention that we didn't get to mention before.
So I gotta give a shout out to my other actors that was in it. My man Joseph Jolly, he played Jake in the video, the half Asian, half white guy. He was in it. Brandon Pravushko, sorry bro if I said your last name wrong. And my man Adam Slaughter, who played the big boss man in 10 Minute Window. He was the narrator for the film. So in my head, when I came up with this idea, I said, I need a narrator to tell the story. Because, it's Red and the Wolf, so, childhood. So I was like, I wanted to do it like somebody was reading a story to you, in a sense. And I said, I need somebody with a British-like accent. And I was trying to find somebody, and I forgot that my man Adam, he does all kind of voices and stuff like that. So when I brought the idea to him, he was on it. He came to my studio, we recorded everything. And again, like I said earlier, he's an improver, so he improv some stuff. We wrote out some stuff, and he did a phenomenal job. I wish y'all could hear the take that didn't even make the final film. Had me cracking up laughing, but yeah, I got to give a shout out to those guys. Appreciate y'all. I couldn't have done it without y'all. Oh, I'm sorry, Nicole. Got to give a shout out to my homegirl Nicole McCrae. She played the news anchor in the film. I called her up too, and we filmed that in her dining room. And I just made it look like a news studio, but it was against a wall in her dining room. So shout out to Nicole. Appreciate you.
This man is so creative. It's amazing to see him work. He'll take the littlest things, your little concept, and make it a whole movie. And I just couldn't be more proud of Brian. Brian is my cousin again. I'm so proud of Brian. And I wanted to make sure that you understood the dynamics because I love this brother. So fast forward, we made a video this summer. We had a family reunion July 4th. Well, let me back up a little bit first. So on my birthday, I usually like to reflect on my birthday. I don't usually like to go out, do much. I want to meditate, I want to pray. So this is usually what I try to do, at least when I start my day on my birthday. I want to reflect on where I've been and where I'm going, the things I want to accomplish in my new birth year. So I take time to meditate and pray. And as I was meditating and praying on my birthday, my grandmother came to me, and the vision of her taking me to church as a young boy in South Carolina, spending summers with her and my family down in the South, and good old Jetburg, South Carolina. Just be down there, one big happy family, spending time together, and then just enjoying ourselves. And so on my birthday, we call her Meme, and she just kept coming to me. And then the words of a song just started formulating. And the idea and the concept was take me back to church. And that vision of just going to church every Sunday, going to Sunday school, that whole thing just kept coming to me and resonating with me. And then I said, well, you know what? Family reunion, what better time to record this video than record it in the church that my grandfather built, and the same church my grandmother used to take me to as a young boy. And said, I need someone to work with on this. And then my sister Michelle, she was like, you need to work with Brian. Your cousin Brian is phenomenal. And that's the right one to work with. And everyone kept saying, I was like, and in my head, I'm like, when did Brian get into film? I was like, I know Brian was tearing up the keys when he started filmmaking.
Shout out to Michelle. Appreciate that.
You know, so I reached out to Brian, and he so graciously said, "Okay, let's do it, cuz." And the rest is history. So we went down there and recorded this music video. Basically, the song that my grandmother inspired in the church she used to take me to, that my grandfather built. And so this whole concept is inspired by my family, growing up in church with my family, going to church with my family, playing instruments and singing the gospel and spreading the good news, running revivals with my uncles, my aunts, and my parents and my sisters and my siblings. It's just amazing to see it all come together. You want to share something? Did I miss anything about this story?
No, I don't think you missed it, but I think the concept was spot on with the vision that you had. To me, it resonated very well. But I'll save my comments for after.
Okay, fair enough. So here it is, the world premiere. Keep it locked right here. Sonix TV1, your new home for entertainment.
This is a world premiere.
My
That was Take Me Back to Church. Written, produced, arranged by yours truly. Mixed, mastered, all the above. So I hope you enjoyed that. That was really a very special song inspired by my grandmother and recorded at my grandfather's church that he built with his own hands. And it couldn't have been, the story couldn't have been more prevalent if I tried, because it just all aligned. My sister Michelle was in it. My sister Melanie is in it. My nephew Julian is in it. My niece Amber is in it. My aunt Joetta, my cousin Crystal, Big Jermaine, Donald, Paul, all history right there. So shout out to all of them for participating. I'm so grateful that to see it all come to life. They took time out from hanging out with the family and doing other things to participate in this music video. So I'm extremely grateful to everyone that participated. And I'm so grateful to my cousin Brian, who could have been doing the same thing, but he chose to work with his cousin and present this to you today. So I'm so grateful for everyone for participating and helping to bring this vision to life. So Brian, tell us about this editing and what it was like when I first called you to start working on these different elements.
When you first called me, I was like, okay, cool. I said, like I said earlier, your vision was spot on. I said, because right now it kind of ties with what I'm doing, because I'm actually doing a family documentary. So I'm interviewing all the siblings. Like I said earlier, my mom is the baby out of 12. So I'm trying to capture their stories, because, they're older. So I'm trying to capture their stories so the family has that record of them telling their stories. And you told the story with the song, Take Me Back to Church, in the church that Papa built. We called our grandfather Papa. And when we got to the church, I just remember it was so hot. It was hot. It was middle of July. But when we got in there, man, it was like, wow, this is pretty amazing. It brought so many memories being back in the old church. So I was all for it, man. It was game.
I know everyone was like, you doing what? Shooting a music video? Where? Yeah. And I'm like, they're like, how is this gonna work? I'm like, trust me, it's gonna work. Yeah. I actually had the vision that it was actually already done. In the same way that you work, I work the same way. Like, I see things done before they actually are done, and then I'm just going through the process of bringing it together. And then there, of course, are some great and wonderful surprises along the way, and maybe things you may not have thought of, but the overall concept is there, and the basis of it all was there. And like I said, it was just clear as day, and Mehmet would not leave me alone with this song, man. So I said, you know what? I got up and I immediately started working on this song on my birthday, and then I called around and said, let the family know we're going to be doing this video. And people showed up, folks showed up, family showed up. So I couldn't be more grateful for everyone. Brian came through with the camera, it was like scorching hot in the middle of South Carolina, and it was like fire out there, and the church was lit because there was no AC, the old building,
no AC,
we was on fire,
burning up in there.
Also, before I get too far, I want to say thank you to Uncle Bill for letting us use the old building. Apostle Alan Simmons, we want to say thank you, Uncle Billy, for letting us use the church. It couldn't have turned out any better if we tried. It was just, to me, if you had to use a word like that, it's just everything, like all the stars just aligned. It was just beautiful and magical and spiritual, just everything just all aligned. And it was just blessed. The whole thing was just blessed, and we were able to create this for you today. So tell us what's next for you.
So what's next for me? So like I said, I'm still working on our family documentary. Got a long way to go with that, but I did get something done. But for me personally, I'm trying to get this next movie off the ground. So I'm working on Red and the Wolf Part 2, writing that out. I got an action movie that's pretty much almost done that I wrote. So I've done shorts. I've filmed features for other people or edited feature films for other people, but I want to get my first feature done. So that's my main next goal for me, is to get my first feature done. So for those that don't know, 45 minutes or less is considered a short film.
Okay.
45 minutes or 46 minutes and longer than that is considered feature. So I'm trying to get past that hour and some change mark for my first feature film. So that's next for me.
Okay, excellent. Well, how about music? Any music in your future?
So I keep saying I'm semi-retired, man. Like I don't know. The music don't turn off. It's in my head. I hear music all the time. I be wanting to record it and track it, and I'd be like, let me work on this video. You know, I'll put it to the side. But I got tons and tons of tracks just sitting on a hard drive, songs just sitting on a hard drive that I wrote. But who knows? You know.
And let me tell you, I've heard some of these songs and they fire. Trust me, they fire. So he has an extensive catalog if you don't know. But I want to know more about your vision for your filmmaking. Dive a little bit more on that. What kind of feature film are you interested in working on?
Like I said, I love comedy, action, sci-fi. I mean, I can do drama too. I don't mess with nothing horror. So I've had a couple people call me to direct their film, but I found out it was a horror film. I turned it down. I had to turn that gig down. Like, nah, if it's a thriller, suspense, that's different. Horror stuff, don't call me for that. First of all, I wouldn't be the right director for that anyway, because that's not my thing. So let me stick in what I know and what I'm comfortable in, which is action, comedy, sci-fi, or even some drama stuff. So as far as like what I want to do in the future, I definitely see myself on much bigger film sets. Like my ultimate goal and my prayer is that I want to direct big budget films.
Well, I can definitely see that in your future. We were laughing about that the other night. I said, let me get Brian while I can. So I'm going to record like 100 music videos and get him out the way while I got him. Because once he's gone, he's not going to have time. He's like, cuz I would, but I'm working with Tyler Perry this week. I'm working with,
Mike Lee, Ryan Coogler,
I'm with Michael Bay this weekend, cuz your music video.
Steven Spielberg. Yeah.
So
that's the level I'm trying to get to. I want to be the next Black prominent film director.
Well, you are on your way, brother, and I'm so proud of you, man. I couldn't be more proud of him. He's doing so many amazing things, and I couldn't be more proud of my cousin, Brian the Synth Man Washington. You could check him out on his website. Any parting words for the people?
I appreciate y'all watching. Be on the lookout. I got some things coming in the near future. Just stay tuned.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Brian, we really appreciate you for being on the show. And you can find more about Brian at his websites and social media sites. Brian Washington, Brian the Synth Man Washington, Facebook fan page, Synth Man Productions, LLC, and the social media handle on all social media at the Synth Man, at the _synth_man. Also, he has a YouTube channel. Check him out on YouTube, Instagram, and all the social media. Please check this brother out. Please go out and support him. He is actually amazing. Yes, and subscribe to his channels. So, we couldn't be more grateful today for Brian to join us, and we hope you really enjoyed the show today. To me, this is like one of those things that dreams are made of. You get to have your family on the show and work and play together and have a good time. And if you like what we're doing, please check me out on my website, sonixmusic.net, SONIX music.net. That's SONIX music.net. You can find out about my history. You can find out about my music and what's been going on. And you can actually check out my merch. If you like what you see, please grab something, support something. You can find all my music on all digital platforms, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Amazon. It's everywhere. Please check it out. I would love to hear from you. Drop me a line sometimes. Let me know what you think about the show, what you think about the music. And we're just very glad to have you today. So if you like what you've seen and like what you heard today, please subscribe and like the channel. Hit the button down below for your boy. Subscribe and like the channel right down below. We're so glad to have you here with us today. Next week, joining us, the one and only Costella, award-winning vocalist, songwriter, arranger. You don't want to miss this icon. Costella will be on our show next week. Same time, same bad channel, as they used to say. We'll be right here on Sonix TV1. That's our show. Thank you everyone for joining us today on Sonix TV1, where you are number one and our guests are stars among stars. I greatly appreciate you spending your time with us today, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Be inspired, be uplifted, be entertained. I am your host, Sonix, and I'll see you next time, right here on Sonix TV1. God bless.